Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're back. We got the crew with us. Not the same crew, but you know what? We'll be just fine. A couple guys in IR, but we'll get through it, just like the Lions did this past Sunday.
Ooh.
Sam Flannel, my partner in crime. Filling in for Lucas, actually. We'll go JB, because JB, he's the Brian Branch. You got a corner out, and we'll play corner. Your slot corner's out, and he'll pop in the slot. You got a linebacker out, safety out, doesn't matter. He'll play it.
Wherever you
JB,
need me, coach.
Holding it down. Wherever you need me, coach. And then, of course, filling in for JB in the audio booth. My guy, Detroit Kool-Aid.
Next man up, right? Next man up.
Hold it down, next man up. That's what we preach around here, and it works. Then we got Matt Broder joining us as well, sitting there in the match chair. We'll be breaking down some of the Lions game at 8:15. We'll get to Broder's thoughts, of course, and much more. People chiming in. Welcome to the show, everybody. We got Booner in the show as well, the other half of Woodward Nights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Check those guys out as well.
Booner and Broder are, one is directly here and one is indirectly here. How nice.
Yeah.
How sweet.
We just like to bring the bees to the Morning Woodward Show.
Yeah, that's fair. Either Booner or Broder chilling with us. That's why I appreciate you guys. Phil says, "Why you mad, Jeff?" I'm not mad at all. I don't know where that was. I don't know where you got that vibe from. But anyway, packed show planned for you guys today. A lot of Lions to get to, of course. 8:15, like I said. We'll talk to Broder. We'll get some his thoughts on the Lions game over the weekend, and I'm going to ask him an interesting question because I can't believe I'm actually asking this, and you'll find out what the question is in about 12 minutes. 8:30, we're going to have the Jared Goff contract extension conversation, and you guys know how I feel. I turned a corner yesterday, and I threw up the white flag. Signed the man. It's over. And we'll talk about that at 8:30. 8:45, Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year odds. We'll review those, get our thoughts on that. Again, I spoke on it yesterday. I'm going to make more of an argument today. 9 o'clock, we got Top 10 Tuesday. Me and Sam released our Top 10 list. I'm curious to see the people's reaction, the room's reaction to me and Sam's list. We have different lists. We're going to get into it.
We're going to get
9
into
o'clock,
it.
we'll get into the list. 9:15, JB, and of course, you guys in the chat will, give your reactions to our list. Maybe me and Sam will argue a little bit. Who knows? We'll see what those lists look like. And then, of course, 9:40. It's not what's trending with Lucas today. Lucas is out the next 2 days. He'll be back, though. Missed you, Lucas. JB, what's trending with JB today? So he's going to hold it down for us. So I appreciate him for that. Before we get into any Lion stuff, I want to bring up yesterday the Monday Night Football game because, and then we'll get to some injuries that came out yesterday for the Lions, some updates. Dan talked about it, but first, that game yesterday. Yeah, I lost money on it. I've been losing a lot of money the last couple days. Booner knows about that. I'm done betting. Some things in life just aren't for you. I think betting is that for me. Like maybe I gotta speak to Neil Rule and start getting on that get right train. I have not, listened to any get rights by Neil Rule. Usually I'll just place a parlay for the game. And I'm missing these parlays by one, so I'm done. I retired. My career is officially over for betting. So, Booner, you're in the chat. He's been winning money. Booner's been trying to help me win money, but it has not been going well. Last night, weird game, 2017 victory for the Dallas Cowboys. It ends on a Justin Herbert interception. And to be honest with you, Sam Flannel, when I watched the game, just a weird game.
It's overall, a weird
game. And I don't really know if there's truly, you look at the game itself, the Chargers, I picked the Chargers to win. I thought they'd sneak up on the Cowboys. They're at home, but the Cowboys, they found a way to win, but there's something to tell. This Cowboys team, they're 3-2 now, or 4-2, excuse me, and they have a bye week, and they're only one game behind the Eagles. Like this Cowboys team, and same with the Chargers too. Herbert, almost 50% completion percentage, had an interception, didn't have a great game, but still overall, I don't know what to take away from last night. It was just all these primetime games are just disgusting. Like they're always these low-scoring games. I thought last night would have been actually a more high-scoring game. I picked like a 30-24 type of result. they're just all nasty. I'm going to start betting unders on every primetime game. I'm done with it, especially this Thursday.
Yeah, last night's game, the only thing I can take away from it, from me personally, is pain. Because, as all of you know, I'm a big Justin Herbert fan. I'm a big Justin Herbert defender, and I still think he's a great quarterback. But I know a lot of people in the chat, a lot of the Neil bots are going to take last night's game, which was not good enough, by the way. Justin Herbert did not play well enough, and just basically use that to generalize his entire career. So I have to live in it for a week. I have to deal with all of the Justin Herbert slander. I had to deal with it all from Neil texting me, almost trying to psychologically torture me last night. I mean, you were part of those texts too, Jeff Iafrate.
Yeah.
The man is relentless, and it's one damn game, but he wasn't good enough. But here's where I have to give some credit to the Dallas Cowboys, because the Cowboys, and we're going to get into this more when we talk about our top 10 rankings. Spoiler alert, the Cowboys are in it, but you'll just have to find out where. They're probably looking at the Eagles taking that L and thinking, maybe we can win this division. I thought they actually played fairly well. It was a nice road win. Dak Prescott played mistake-free football, and for the most part, Micah Parsons was basically a non-factor. But when the Cowboys needed him the most, when the Chargers were trying to drive down the field, they had it about 2nd and 2. Micah Parsons comes and just buries Justin Herbert for an 8-yard sack, and that kind of changed the momentum of the game. So I think Justin Herbert didn't get it done, but sometimes big-time players make big-time plays in big games, and Micah Parsons did just that. And the Cowboys, they might have just salvaged their chance at a division title. I don't think they'll get it, but if you're the Cowboys, you got to think you can at this point.
Yeah, especially
There's
when you have a loss to the Cardinals like that. I mean, that's still there floating around for the Cowboys. And this comment here, Hoof-hearted, last night was a mid-off. Cowboys are upper mid, and Chargers are just mid.
I don't know if the Cowboys are mid.
Well, he did give him credit. He said upper mid. More respectable mid.
No, I mean,
I don't know. Maybe you like the Cowboys. At least you've been consistent. You like their defense. You've always, not that you're the biggest Dak Prescott fan, but you've defended Dak Prescott. We've had some arguments over that. I don't give a damn what the Cowboys record is. Mike McCarthy, and this is my favorite part about watching last night, is you got to see Kellen Moore go against the Cowboys. This offense from Mike McCarthy, it was the first game you actually saw like somewhat of an efficient passing game from Dak Prescott. Like overall, he had a rushing touchdown, moved a little bit out of the pocket. But this offense is just egregious for the Cowboys. Like overall, it just is. Like CeeDee Lamb finally had a great game. Like
he did.
It's weird. Like in the fact that Kellen Moore, while he was there, and I believe it was Joe Buck who was going through like some of the statistics that the Cowboys had when he was there offensively. They like led the league in total yards 2 or 3 years, and then you had points per game. He's always up there. Like the offense was always good, and then he departs, and Mike McCarthy's calling plays. Like I'm not trusting this team at all. Like offensively, defensively though, I like what they have. Dan Quinn's a hell of a coordinator, but I hate that. So Cowboys, I can't wait till the Lions face them. I cannot wait.
I mean, I can't either. I think at the time, it's going to be a bit of a pick'em game because they'll both be alive for a playoff spot. Hell, by that point, the Lions may have the NFC North all wrapped up and they'll just be fighting for seeding. I've just always, and this is where I think yesterday I did a very fine job of ingratiating Lions fans to my side. But here's where I have to push back a little bit, and this is my overriding thing when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and the Lions fans' relationship with them. Obviously, this season, the Lions clear the Cowboys. The Lions look like clearly the superior team. But I'm going to talk to Lions fans and Lindsey Hunter, who's a 49ers fan. All of you guys have, I mean, the Dallas, I'm going to talk to 49ers fans at first.
Okay.
And specifically Lindsey Hunter, the privileged 49er fans. Did you know that the Dallas Cowboys have won a Super Bowl more recently than the San Francisco 49ers? The 49ers of the last 10 years are about as overrated of a franchise as you can possibly have. They have been in 2 Super Bowls and lost both of them. Kyle Shanahan has never really won a big game his entire life. Is he a brilliant offensive mind? Absolutely. Did he help the Falcons choke away that Super Bowl to the Patriots? Yes. Did he help the 49ers choke away that Super Bowl to the Chiefs? Yes. And then for Lions fans, the Lions, even though this year the Lions clear the Cowboys, they're going to beat them, they're going to be a division winner, and the Cowboys are not. And I think the Lions have a very good chance of going into Dallas and beating them. The vitriol that the Cowboys get when we're Lions fans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that. It's more me just hating the Cowboys. But to your point about Kyle Shanahan, I don't think that's fair to say that. You know, I've heard that before. Like, he can't win any big games. Andy Reid, before he got to Kansas City, never won any big games.
No, I understand.
And then he got Patrick Mahomes, and now he's just all-time. Which I love Andy Reid, but, like, Let's relax. Like, both Super Bowls were with who at quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes.
No, I'm saying for Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, when it comes to the Falcons.
Like with Brock Purdy, if he didn't get hurt last year, he could have made a Super Bowl.
I don't know about that.
I know about that.
Everybody thinks it's a foregone conclusion that the 49ers were just going to win that game.
I would have thought. I thought they would have won that game.
They might have.
And that's fair. We don't know. But still, my point being is the whole Kyle Shanahan can't win any big games. Okay, wait till he gets a quarterback. Maybe Brock's that guy.
That's fine, but...
I like Kyle Shanahan. I think that's unfair because your guy, Andy Reid, never won a damn big game until he got to Kansas City.
All I know is in the 1995 season, the Cowboys last won a Super Bowl. The 49ers haven't won one since Steve Young was their quarterback.
And that's fair.
And everyone talks about the 49ers as like, oh my goodness, this privileged, consummate winner franchise. And the Cowboys, a bunch of losers, haven't won anything in 25 years. Neither have the 49ers, Lindsey Hunter. You call them the Cowgirls, you have no right. The 49ers have gagged away a couple of different opportunities. I don't know why. And Chuck Brewer, I'm not talking about, you're talking about how many big games have the Lions won. I'm comparing the 49ers to the Cowboys. The Cowboys have won a Super Bowl more recently than the 49ers. None of you would know that, but that's factual. The Cowboys are just a bunch of losers, and the 49ers, consummate winners. Kyle Shanahan, put him in the Hall of Fame
When's
already.
the last time the Cowboys have made the NFC Championship?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, it does matter.
Oh, yeah,
it matters.
Right.
But the 49ers have not cashed one in, and Kyle Shanahan is overrated. As a coach, as an offensive mind, he's brilliant, but I'm just tired of the whole 49ers are a privileged franchise thing. It's narrative.
Well, at least for Lindsey, you have the bragging rights of absolutely destroying the Cowboys last week. So there's that. But I don't think Kyle Shanahan's overrated. All right, get that man a quarterback. And then Sam Flannel will be like, yeah, he's a pretty damn good coach.
He's
just like your guy, Andy Reid.
He is a very good coach.
Okay.
But he has gagged a couple of opportunities.
Same with Jimmy G.
Hey, Jimmy G helped gag Matt Broder. That also, I'm just saying.
Well, he's a winner, according to Broder, though.
Won
Jimmy
a playoff game while completing 6 passes. Also one where he led his offense to 6 points. Also won one where he completed 11 passes, and also won one where he had 0 touchdowns and 1 pick.
That's fair.
I've got it all in my head.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's go to break here. When we get back, we'll talk to Matt Broder, and we'll go through some of the injury updates for the Lions. Some guys that might be back, might not be back. We'll go through all that. And then I have a question to ask Broder. And Broder, it might get a little uncomfortable in here to have this discussion as a Lions fan. So it'll be a lot of fun. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Hamlin Pub, guys, because listen, especially for these Lions wins coming up, there's no better place to be than Hamlin Pub, watching all the games, all NFL games, and you'll be known as a regular. It's a family environment at Hamlin Pub, and it's just a place for you. Head to one of their 7 locations and experience where everyone's a regular. Join the Woodward Sports Lions postgame show live from Hamlin Pub this Sunday. On Tyken Road. Wow, we have a postgame show there. That's a lot. That's breaking news. Stick, Maz, and more will be there to break down the Lions versus Ravens game. We'll see you there from our live show from Hammond Pub this Sunday. Experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market in shed number 5, and it is always a bash. Starting at 9:30 a.m. until game time, the official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame it with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, and entertainment all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com or win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on IG, and direct message Lions VIP.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're joined by our Detroit Lions beat reporter, Matt Broder, who's also part of many other things as well. Woodward nights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. weekdays with the boys over there doing a great job. You got Booner, Jalen, Nick, and on top of that, Woodward and Maine, which just recorded today. This man's busy, so he blessed me with his time. So
You're going to make this a regular Tuesday thing.
Yes, it is. It is Tuesdays with Matt Broder.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
Tuesdays, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it, brother. All right, first thing I want to ask you, your reaction to the David Montgomery stuff. I know Dan kind of hinted at it. He didn't give anything specific, but he just said he'll be down for a little bit here. Your thoughts on that, Jahmyr Gibbs? Because my thought process on it is, and I saw Lions Twitter last night, everyone's saying sign a running back, sign a running back, sign a running back, and you got Fournette visiting the Bills right now. Your thoughts on that, bringing in another body? I don't mind that, Broder. Where I'm coming from is this. If Jahmyr Gibbs is healthy, you drafted him at 12th overall, there shouldn't be this clamoring for a running back.
I'm with you.
He carried a lot of the workload against Atlanta, had 18 carries for like 60 yards, whatever the stat line was. He held it down. He was fine. So if Jahmyr is who we think he is, which I believe he's super talented, he's got a lot of ability, you should be okay. Now, if you want to bring in a body, I have no problem with that. But your reaction to David Montgomery going down and potentially bringing in someone on the practice squad or signing a free agent running back?
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think if they do make a move for a running back, it's going to be another body. It's going to be a depth piece that they add more as insurance, as the Craig Reynolds and Divino Zigbo, the role that they played in this last game versus the Bucs. I think they may look for somebody there. But no, you're right. If David Montgomery, as long as he doesn't have to miss an extended amount of time, you got to just be able to hand the ball over to Jahmyr Gibbs to take on maybe not the exact same workload, but take on more of a workman-like running back workload. Give him a few more rushes rather than just relying on him in the creative offensive game plan. Jahmyr Gibbs, he should be back this weekend. He should be healthy. We'll learn more over the next couple days. And it doesn't appear that David Montgomery is going to miss an extended amount of time. Again, this is to be determined. They haven't come out with anything official yet, but from what it sounded like Dan Campbell was saying, they're going to try to avoid the injured reserve, which would be 4 weeks. So you got to think maybe he misses a week or two. Maybe they get him to that bye week so he has another an extended break. But who knows? It all depends on what's going on with the cartilage in his ribs. We'll see. But you got to be able to rely on Jahmyr Gibbs. That's why you drafted him at 12.
Yeah, and not saying you're giving this guy, like you said, 25, 30 carries,
right.
but 10 to 15, come on. Like, he should be able to handle that. But Sam Flannel, what do you got?
Oh, 100%. And speaking of injuries, this Lions team, Broder, they have overcome injuries in a way that certainly no Lions team ever has, and in a way that even some of the best NFL teams right now aren't doing. Is there anything that you're seeing in the building, maybe systemically or with coaching and development and everything? How are the Lions able to just be next man up no matter who they lose and not seem to miss a beat?
I believe that the players, additionally, on top of the coaches feeling this way, the players really trust everybody in that locker room. They trust the Craig Reynolds of the world. They trust the practice squad players. They really believe that, and this is how the coaches coach them up, that at any point in time, a practice squad player could get elevated to the active roster and actually contribute. They've not only shown it historically over the last couple of years, if that fits. Jerry Jacobs, an undrafted free agent, he's now your starting cornerback. They have examples of young players getting time, of undrafted players getting time. So really everyone in that building believes they could contribute on the field on Sundays at some point this season. So they're just keeping everybody ready. They're getting the practice squad players ready as much as they are the starters in whatever way they do that behind the scenes. It just feels like whenever the next man is up, they deliver in a way that helps the team. It's really cool. It's special to see. I know not every team is like this.
Now, for me, and I kind of teased it last segment, but it's time for an uncomfortable conversation, okay? And Michael Lucci's tweeted this out, and he posted a screenshot, so shout out to him. I'll give him credit there. Posted a screenshot from playoffstatus.com, and essentially what that does is, it does it for all sports, but for the NFL, it takes all the teams. It has a Super Bowl winning percentage, Super Bowl. Do you have the screenshot, JB? You could throw it up so people can get a visual of this. So that's kind of what it looks like there. NFL postseason probabilities. Of course, you have all the teams. I only took up to the Cowboys there, but look at that. Look at the percentages the Lions. Not only are they first in essentially everything, but Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl appearance, conference championship, round 2 victory, round 1 victory. The Lions lead everything percentage-wise. Now, I don't know how these things are calculated. I'm not the I'm not a big analytics guy, but what I'll tell you is that's the data. They believe, and this is public too, that the Lions are a legit not only contender, but contender for the Super Bowl. Not just making an NFC championship game, not just going on a playoff run and falling short. They think they can win the Super Bowl. Win. Matt Broder, I want your thoughts on that. And do you think they are the best team in the NFC right now?
That's a ballsy take. These are some pretty big claims, and it's not outrageous. I think they should be the expectation to get to the Super Bowl. They should be thinking Super Bowl win. That should be on their mind in Allen Park right now. Detroit fans should believe that about this team. I'm not ready to put them ahead of the 49ers yet. They're still my number one team in the NFL and the NFC. But I put the Detroit Lions very close behind. I'll give you my power rankings later on tonight on Woodward Nights. But Detroit is up there. I had them at number 5 last week, and I am moving them up. I think they have what it takes to compete. They got to get there. Things got to fall into place. There's still luck that comes into it, but they're built in the way. They're built for a long postseason run in the short term and to be a successful team in the long term. The way that they rely on the big boys up front, that front seven, both on offense and defense, it's what you need, that physicality to make a deep run in the playoffs and to go up against the Eagles, the 49ers, these tough teams in the playoffs.
And I'm pretty sure this is calculated by strength of schedule, of course, because by that, if you have the easiest schedule, they have like the 31st, then your odds of winning the NFC increase, and if your odds of winning the NFC increase, then of course you host a playoff game. Like, I think that's where the percentages come from, but it's crazy to see the Lions on that graphic.
Oh, it most certainly is. You know what else is crazy? The Lions in the last 4 games, I know you guys touched on it on Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder, 8 to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. Great show, by the way.
Thank you.
The Lions...
You got those stats right, too, 8 to 10.
Hey, 100%. 8-10 Eastern time, 7 to 9 Central time. But you know what? Let's move on.
Every time zone.
Yes. So the Lions, not only are they beating teams, you guys touched on it, in their last 4 games, they have won every single game by double digits. And in 2 of those games, they have allowed their opponents to 6 points, no touchdowns. Is it something or nothing that the Lions are just dominating these teams? They're not just winning, they're imposing their will. In fourth quarters, we're just kicking back, with our feet up. Is that something that you think could help the Lions moving forward, or does that speak to their dominance, or is it just, a win's a win no matter what?
No, without a doubt, I think it speaks to the Lions' dominance, their success thus far, the way that they're doing it, being able to control the ball in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter when you can hand it to David Montgomery as many times as you need to kill that clock. And then what I love to see when I look to see what this team has to take the next level, it's this past game when David Montgomery goes out, they need to rely on Jared Goff to lead them. They need to rely on Jared Goff to get them to that win. And although their running game did just about nothing, I think they averaged under 2 yards per carry, Jared Goff managed to run that offense in a way that it still felt like they had a running game. He used Amon-Ra as if he was a running back. He found him 12 times and was able to just keep the chains moving, keep the clock going, completing passes, his efficiency to be able to keep the clock running, especially in that fourth quarter. The last drive was it was almost seven minutes long, and I don't think they ran more than 2 or 3 times on that drive. To be able to do that, and then punt, you have Jack Fox place that punt down within the 3-yard line. It's special. So those things, the ability to do that, it's not just the Buccaneers. You can do that against any team if you have that type of power run game or faith in your quarterback to be able to disperse the ball like he did. It was one of those things. I can't remember seeing a Lions team able to do that, able to close the door like that. They truly believe that the game's not over until that final whistle, and they're playing like it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jose says Jeff looks like he makes his own shampoo and deodorant.
Damn, that's funny.
Right guard.
Yeah, Jose, that wins the medal there.
That's funny.
I want to ask you, Broder, before we go to break here in a couple of minutes. I said this yesterday, and I spewed a lot of things yesterday, positive about the Lions, of course, on Victory Monday. But one thing I said is just send the award to Dan Campbell's house right now. Like Coach of the Year, it's over. It's over. And I know there's a lot of season left. I get all that. You be all technical about everything. But my thoughts on, strength of schedule. Lions have one of the easiest strength of schedules. You look at Dan Campbell, he has the storyline. The Detroit Lions, they're winning games. The last handful of games, they won by over 1 score. So the way they're winning, you look at every, or at least former Coach of the Year candidates. Brian Daboll won 9 games last year and won the award. Didn't win the most games, even in his division. But why did he win it, Matt Broder? Because of the storyline.
Playoffs.
And playoffs.
Yeah.
I think Dan Campbell has the perfect storyline. The Detroit Lions are the darling of the NFL. Should they just send the award to his house right now?
Yeah.
Like I said, okay.
Send it. Find his mailing address and send it. No, you got to expect the Lions are at least going to win 11 games. A lot of us think it's going to be more, but 11 games, a playoff berth, a playoff win possibly. These are obviously all the goals. You got to start thinking about Dan Campbell as Coach of the Year candidate, as the front runner right now. Now you might be competing with DeMeco Ryans, with Mike McDaniels, maybe even throw Sean McVay into that mix, but
Shane Steichen too, maybe?
Steichen, maybe. Dan Campbell's definitely in that mix.
I think it's just him and Mike McDaniel, in my opinion.
Right now, I do believe they got to be the front runners.
Yeah.
But this team, man, you think of a Coach of the Year candidate. You got 2 offensive coordinators who are likely going to be head coaching candidates next year. You got a Defensive Player of the Year nominee, an MVP nominee possibility. They got the makeup to be a special team this year. It's going to be an exciting stretch. Again, the 31st ranked schedule coming down the stretch here. They can make some noise. They can definitely make some noise.
In this comment, Scott says, why does Coach of the Year matter so much to you? I mean, I just want guys to be rewarded, right?
Yeah.
Dan Campbell's a hell of a coach. I think winning an award like that would kind of cement, what we think of Dan.
100%.
He's
You get a
damn
bonus
good,
from it, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's a damn good coach. Not saying that's what matters, but it would be nice.
Oh yeah, I mean anybody getting recognized for Coach of the Year. I mean that would mean the world. It's not the end all be all, but I think it's a big deal. And to your point, Broder, I think 11 wins is kind of shortchanging the Lions. Honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think they're going to need to win more for Dan Campbell to win Coach of the Year, but I also think that they will. And speaking of Dan Campbell, speaking of the coaching staff, is there any coordinator duo right now more valuable to their team than Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn?
No, there can't be.
No.
I mean, I don't even know which one is coaching better right now. I mean,
That's fair.
Which one would you rather keep if you had to choose? It's tough. I mean, most people would say Ben Johnson before maybe these last 2-3 games, but Aaron Glenn's coaching as good as any defensive coordinator in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He's a leader of men.
Yeah, you think about it, like last year, the offense looked great, but they were struggling to win games because the defense couldn't stop anybody.
Yeah.
The offense is still buzzing, but guess what? What's the difference? The Lions defense are holding teams. They've held the Falcons to 6 points, the Bucs to 6 points. You can win a lot of NFL games holding guys to 6 points, Matt Broder.
Yeah, how many rushing in under 50 or 60 yards per game?
Right.
Like they're doing historic things for Detroit defenses. And to come where they came from last year, it's wild. It's wild.
Don Beats, I'm late. Why does Jeff look like a lead singer from the 2000 rock band? That's fair.
That's actually
fair.
good.
You are getting it in the chat, the hipster coffee shop vibe they're saying. I think you're a stud, Jeff.
It's okay. Hey, you know what? I knew what I signed up for, and I'm willing to accept it. Let's go to break here. When we get back, we'll get into a Jared Goff discussion here. And, Broder, if you got time, you can join us for that. We're going to discuss if a contract extension should come sooner than later for Jared Goff and what we think of that idea. Because Neil Rule yesterday, he was on one in a good way. I mean, he was all for Jared Goff. He was calling out people, and I loved it, actually. I did. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Premier Pet, and then we'll get into Jared Goff.
Absolutely. When it comes to your pet, don't settle. I certainly don't settle when it comes to my golden retriever Jake and my cat Milo, getting them all the pet supplies that they need at Premier Pets. And you should give your pet the best as well. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations. Over 60 brands of food, lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. Visit their website at premierpetsupply.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. So register today at OutdoorEquipCo.com, and even you could have DMAC on your landscaping crew.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Dick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in a city that never sleeps. It's the Centron Energy Drink It and Live It sweepstakes. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter for your chance to win. Register at drinkcentron.com/Vegas and buy Centron at your local Meijer store. Centron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself. Once again, that website is drinkcentron.com. Now, back to Jeff Timberlake.
Oh, sorry. Just working on my screenplay. Plenty more to get to.
Oh, man. Wonderful.
Plenty more to get to. Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, of course, Top 10 Tuesday. Bendito says he looks like Harry Mack. I'll take that one.
That's a W.
That's a compliment.
That's goated.
That's goated. On the sticks, as Neil Rule's son would say.
Bendino?
Let's get to Jared Goff here. Yesterday, I kind of talked about it a little bit. I want to bring it back up because the whole Jared Goff contract thing, you know, it's an interesting conversation. A lot of people talk about it at the network, and I've always said, and I still believe this, but I'm a little less adamant on it. I need to see postseason success. I think that's what we're all aiming for. Lions fans, the players, the coaches, Brad Holmes, Sheila, top to the bottom. Playoff success is everything, and I think that's what matters. But the way Jared Goff's been playing, and you look at the financials, and if you wait till a playoff win, the price, famous saying, yesterday's price is not today's price. And it's a bar, because it's true. If Jared Goff goes out there and wins a playoff game, the price goes up. So if Brad Holmes were to sign Jared Goff to a contract extension, maybe a 3-year deal, $50 million a year, because that's what it's going to be. I mean, you look at some of the contracts being handed out right now, and look at the guys who are getting paid. From top to bottom, the average salary, Joe Burrow clearly leads it with $55 million. It's Joe frickin' Burrow. I get it. Herbert's getting paid $52.5 average per year. Lamar's getting $52. Jalen Hurts is getting $51. And then these are where I know Jared Goff's going to get $50. Russell Wilson, $49. Kyler Murray, $46. Deshaun Watson, $46. Patrick Mahomes took a pay cut, so shout out to him, $45. But then you got Daniel Jones, $40. Jared Goff's worth $50. Like, he's better than Kyler, he's better than Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson at this point, Jared Goff's better than him. So if we're talking about contract and what he should be paid, 50's fair. I know people throw around, well, why can't he make 40, 45? If you're Jared Goff and you're playing this type of football, and you go back over the last 17 games, Jared Goff, 29 touchdowns, 4 picks. That's a full season.
Yeah.
Like, that's numbers for you. And the Lions, I believe, are 13-4 in that stretch. I'm done doing the whole I got to wait to see it in the playoffs. I think the way Jared Goff's playing right now, he can win a playoff game. He's done it before with LA. I'm out on that. I don't need to see it. Now, ideally, of course, in every perfect situation, you wait, you see the success, then you pay him. I just don't think it's worth it, Sam, because if you wait, the price jumps up even higher. If Brad feels the need to get a deal done, somewhere, and I don't think it'll be mid-season, but sooner than later, I don't have a problem with it. And that's coming from me, who still talks, what do they have in Hendon Hooker? It doesn't even matter at this point. Like, the way Jared Goff's been playing, he's a legitimate franchise quarterback. It's pointless to start throwing around the what-ifs with Hendon Hooker when you have a guy playing like a top-5 quarterback at playing for you and winning games for you and being a big reason why you win football games. I'm done debating it. I'm done, Sam Flannel. If Brad feels the need to sign him to a contract extension, I 100% support it. I do.
You know, Jeff, I am pretty much right in lockstep. I know it doesn't make for a lot of banter, but what can you really say after how Jared Goff performed this past Sunday at Tampa Bay? To me, that was the best performance he's had as a Lion, maybe of his entire career, considering the circumstance. It was a tough road game at a division winner, maybe a bit of a division leader, maybe a bit of a Fugazi division leader, but that was certainly a big game and a big spot in which he had no running game support, but still managed to completely dominate that game, hitting pinpoint pass after pinpoint pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Josh Reynolds hit a deep ball to Jamison Williams, kept the clock moving, basically dominated time of possession with no running game, just off the short passing game. It was pretty much there all night, and he was surgical, moving right down the field. But that's just one game. And it was a great game, but it may have turned me over to the pendulum into, yeah, you know what, maybe get the deal done. I'm not saying I'm calling for $50 million. I'm just saying I'm going to leave it all in the hands of Brad Holmes, and whatever he decides, I would be happy with it. And anything short of $50 million a year, I'd be like, absolutely, go right ahead. Because what was the, I would say, knock on Jared Goff coming into this year? From 2019 to 2021, Jared Goff had pretty much 3 years of mid. That's fair. After 2017 and 2018 being strong, 2019 through 2021 was 3 years of mid. And a lot of people were very skeptical about Jared Goff. But last season, Jared Goff went out and had, in my estimation, the best season of his entire career. But of course, the Lions didn't win anything. It wasn't his fault. He led a top 5 offense, but they didn't win anything. The question was always, can he do it again? Can he validate? And so far this season, Jared Goff has certainly done that, and I've got a lot of numbers to back that up. Last season, Jared Goff was 6th in the NFL in passing yards. This season, he is 5th, and he's on pace for over 200 more than he had last year. Last season, he was 7th in the NFL in yards per attempt at 7.6. This season, he's currently 3rd with 8. Last season, he was tied for 5th in the NFL in passing touchdowns with 29. This season, Jared Goff is on pace for 31. 31, while also throwing single-digit interceptions like he did last year. Last season, Jared Goff was 5th in the NFL in QBR at 63.3. This season, Jared Goff is 4th in the NFL in QBR at 73.3, a whole 10-point difference. Last season, Jared Goff was 7th in the NFL in passer rating at 99.3. This season, Jared Goff is 3rd in the NFL in passer rating at an absurd 105.1.
Yep.
And last season, Jared Goff led a offense that was 5th in the NFL in scoring at 26.6, and this season it's 4th in the NFL in scoring at 28. So pretty much all across the board, Jared Goff not only has validated, but he has improved on everything from last year. And not only that, we talk about last season. The Lions obviously started off slow, went 9-8, missed the playoffs. It wasn't Jared Goff's fault. He still had a great year. But this year, the Lions right now are going from 9-8 and no playoffs last year to tied for the best record in the NFL through 6 games, have as much of a commanding lead in their respective division as any other team in the NFL. And now this is the year where Jared Goff is not only going to have the stats, in my estimation, but the wins, but the division title, hopefully some playoff wins. And at this point, I think this season he's going to end up validating every single thing that maybe we were skeptical that he could validate again. And he's proving every single person wrong. So as of right now, I don't see him falling off. I don't see him doing anything the rest of the year except continuing to be exemplary, and the Lions continuing to win. So if Brad Holmes and Jared Goff can get to the table and get an extension done now, what can I say?
No.
What can I say?
Yeah, and the people who are still fighting it, Matt Broder, I think are just dying on a hill that, it's okay to come down. Like, it's all good. You can get off that hill. You can accept it. Like, he's playing like a franchise quarterback. And the biggest thing for Jared, and again, people, and even I brought up, like, my concern for re-signing the others, re-signing a Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, those guys, you still have, a couple years left of control of those guys. And, of course, you're going to have to sign them to a contract extension. But that's up to Brad to figure out a way. Even if you have to lose somebody, because you can't pay every single person on this roster, you have confidence that Brad can fill some of those holes because he's done it. I'm not saying you lose Amon-Ra, but some of those other players that you might not be able to re-sign. The big thing for Jared and what people always said is he's a quarterback you can win with, not win because of. He's changing that narrative. Personally, and I want your thoughts on that, because last game, the defense, hell of a job of the defense, but that game offensively was because of Jared Goff. I didn't have to sit there when the run game went out. It's not like Brock Purdy after C-Mac went down. Things are different. Your thoughts on that? I think Goff's turning into a guy you can win because of.
Yeah, I definitely think he took a step in the direction of being a quarterback that you can rely on when things are going your way, when the run game isn't working. You can rely on him to lead you to a victory against a good defense. He's one of those guys that I know the detractors like to say it's about the team that's built around him. And of course, like what quarterback it doesn't rely on the team around him, rely on a good offensive line or rely on a good weapons. He's performing as he should with all these things. It's not something we should hold against him. But when contract decision time comes, that is a different story. It's at what price is Jared Goff our guy? Can we afford to pay these other guys, or at least build that team around Jared Goff? Whether it means getting rid of one of the big ticket guys coming up, or not. Can we build a team paying him X amount per year? That's the decision Brad Holmes has to make. And if he decides no, we can't give Goff $50 million and put the right pieces around to help him be successful, then you start looking at Hendon Hooker. Then you start looking, do we go a different route, draft another quarterback this year? It all depends on what they see in Hendon Hooker and if they believe that they can continue to build the team the way they are with Goff getting 50, 55 million or whatever, the 45, whatever the price is. Maybe it's 40. Maybe they realize we can't build this team paying him 40. That's up to Brad Holmes, and these are the decisions we have to trust them with.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm with you. And that's the whole thing about this whole, like, it's okay to, at first for me at least, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to throw $50+ million at Jared because I had 1 year of a sample size. I'm good. Like, I got another 6 games, and he's still playing well. Yeah. So, again, it's okay for those people who last year were hesitant. I understand that. But even to still be hesitant, I mean, he's still playing good football. Yeah. I think this is Jared. I don't think there's going to be this year where, the next 2 years, he just looks like complete trash. I think this is Jared. He's 29 years old. He's in the prime of his career, and he's only getting better.
Yeah, and real quick, his game matches the way the NFL is going, the way the rules are protecting the quarterbacks. You don't need to be as mobile. You don't need to make as many plays, like from a Patrick Mahomes type playmaker perspective. Right. Sam was talking about yards per attempt, and he's actually improved in that. That to me means it's not how far he's throwing it. He's getting the ball to his weapons. He's leveraging bad matchups and getting them the ball in space so then they can go make plays after they catch the ball. That's how they extend that yards per attempt. Jared Goff is doing that, and he's still getting better. Like Sam said, it's a lot to be excited about still.
Yeah, no, and before we go to break here, I don't really do this much, but I like to nominate a dumbass comment of the day. Can I do that?
Sure.
All right, Trisha Miller.
Yes,
Jeff, stop acting like this shit is new. He did it last year. You're gaslighting. What? Because I changed my opinion? Trisha, with new information, you were allowed to change your opinion. I think it'd be worse if I died on this hill and still sat here and said, no, I do not want to pay Goff. I am blind. I am seeing him produce, but no, I will not sign him. Trisha would prefer me to say that. No, Trisha. It's called new information, and Jared is still playing well. I had 1 year of a sample size. It's okay. You could change your opinion. I don't know why Trisha just woke up and someone just took a shit right in her Cheerios, but you know what? It's okay. You don't have to be frustrated. I think this job comes with being wrong a lot, but also you have chances to come around and admit, you know what? I was wrong. Like, the whole being hesitant on paying Jared Goff, he's proven me wrong this year, and I'm happy. I love the Lions. But to disagree with somebody and to be called you're gaslighting, come on, Trisha, you do better than that.
No, that was Trisha Miller, you're a valuable member of the Morning Woodward Show and all the other shows on Woodward Sports Community. But it's comments like that make me not even want to praise people. But here's the thing: Jared Goff did have a very fine year last year, and I have never once denied that, not once. But the Lions did not make the playoffs. Wasn't all his fault, by the way. I wouldn't say it was his fault at all. They didn't make the playoffs. They didn't win anything, and his 3 previous seasons were not very good. The fact that we had to see a little bit more as Lions fans, you almost act like if we don't want to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL that we're hating or something like that.
Yeah, that's my problem.
We're coming around.
And all Lions fans don't do this, but there are Lions fans like Trisha where I'm just sitting there and it's funny because, like, for example, and I'm sure Trisha was one of these people because it's right on par with who at least I think she is. If you didn't pick the Lions to blow out the Bucs, you're a hater and you just hate the Lions. Like, that stuff, come on, guys. Like, just because I can't sit here and say pay Jared $60 million, $55 million, I'm a hater. Like, and even when I come out and say I will, I'm a hater. So I love it, man. There's no winning, but there's people like that. Like Trisha just constantly complains. So it happens. But some people chiming in here. Let's see here. Underdone. Jeff looks like he runs the show with a laptop and a Panera Latte. Nick Burke says Jeff looks like the lost Jonas brother. Jordan says any chance Goff takes less money. I'm honestly, if he does that, cool. But where I'm coming around is I don't even care about the less money thing. I mean, if I'm Goff from his perspective, you have to ask for 50. You're better than Kyler. You're better than Russell Wilson. Why would I ask for less than those guys? And you're weighted to pay me. He still's under contract next year, but man, it's okay. Like, even for the people, and this is to all people out there that said I will not pay Goff. Maybe the heavies changed their opinion. I don't know. I don't know what they've been talking about Goff. Maybe you guys can fill me in on that. For me, I wanted to keep the others. At this point, you cannot deny that Jared's a franchise quarterback the way he's playing. So give him an extension, Brad. I'm cool with it. That's all. That's my conclusion.
Yep,
and we're on the same page.
We are 100% on the same page.
People would say we're hating.
Oh yeah, we're 100% hating.
Or we're gaslighting.
That's gaslighting. I mean, can you cool it with the dramatics, by the way, Trisha Miller? But by the way, I still value your opinion. But gaslighting is just an insane overreaction. But that's the thing. You're allowed as Lions fans. We're allowed as Lions fans to kind of take in all the data and maybe grow a little bit. People who were on Goff before the season that they should just extend him should be happy that he is validating all of your beliefs, and he is even turning me and Jeff. I was 100% on the whole, I got to see it in the playoffs first. But at this point, after that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, I'm at the point where give him an extension. I'm not even mad. It's called personal growth. It's called seeing Jared Goff validate what he did last year. And everything is happening exactly the way we want it, exactly the way the Goff people want it as well. We're all Goff people at this point. All Detroit Lions people, for the most part, I'd say the vast majority of them are Goff people.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, the gatekeeping stuff.
The gatekeeping.
I laugh. Like, it's like me picking Dan to win Coach of the Year before the season. Everyone's like, he's going to win Coach of the Year. I'm like, welcome to the club. Like, welcome. I said this earlier. Who cares?
Get off the bandwagon. Yeah. You can't want Dan Campbell to win Coach of the Year because you didn't predict it from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's just people are like that. That's just how they are. Not just here, but in general. That's just not who I am as a person. Like, I'm cool. If I'm right, I'm not going to come up here and say, I'm right, I told you. People will tell me I'm right.
Yeah, Jeff. And Detroit Jabber says, it's okay, Jeff. Have another wheatgrass shot.
That's fair. That is fair. Let's go to break here. When we come back, we'll talk about, speaking of Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year, let's have that conversation. And hopefully no one called it before the season because we're not allowed to talk about it if they did. Just checking. Okay. Yep. We'll go to break. But first, we got to hear about our friends over at Planet Fitness. Let me tell you about them. They're the home of the judgment-free zone, where anybody can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment. All you got to do, $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's always a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands throughout the world.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Academy Warren, let me tell you about them, guys. A brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house with a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field, of course. They also can, you can play 7-on-7 football on that soccer field. But let's talk about the school for a second. All the features that's included. You got AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, free breakfast and lunch, futuristic media center, and much more. All you got to do, and they're accepting new enrollment, head to theacademywarren.net. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Man, plenty more to get to. Dan Campbell to get to, actually. Coach of the Year award. Let's talk about that for a second. And I kind of talked about it earlier. And you go back and look at all the Coach of the Years and everything that previous Coach of the Years have done to kind of compare it to what Dan's on track to do. You go last year, Brian Daboll won 9 games, and he won Coach of the Year because of what happened the year prior. Like that Joe Judge, it was awful. That situation he walked into, they won 9 games, even with a bad roster. So, of course, that matters. So storyline does play a factor because it's not just wins. Even though Brian Daboll was the first coach to win Coach of the Year award, not winning more than 10 games since Jimmy Johnson of the Dallas Cowboys in 1990.
Ooh.
So typically you got to win 10-plus games. It's just how it is. And obviously winning your division matters as well. Not to Brian Daboll, of course, but still, I think storyline matters much more. Because if it wasn't, then, other coaches would have won it last year. But Dan Campbell, I think, has everything. You're going to have one of the better teams in the NFC. You're going to win 12, maybe even 13 games. On top of that, you have the storyline. You're the Detroit Lions. You haven't tasted this type of success. You got Matt Broder in the background. The Lions have not tasted this type of success. Dan Campbell has everything going his way to win this award. You're going to win your division. He could win the NFC, and you have the storyline. Like Mike McDaniel is second, and I think that's the race right there. It's Dan and Mike McDaniel. And Mike McDaniel has the storyline too, but man, like you look at the talent on each side. Obviously, offensively, the Dolphins have a ton of talent. But we haven't seen the Lions. I mean, people are arguing this is the best team we've seen in our lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Like he has the storyline. And not that Coach of the Year matters, right? Like, of course, Super Bowl matters. Winning games matters. I get all that. But just for Dan to receive the credit I think he deserves, because you look at some of these top 10 coaches that these lists that come out, I have not seen Dan on really any of these lists. And it actually kind of pisses me off because I think he's a damn good head coach. And I think winning the Coach of the Year award would solidify that amongst, not just for Dan, because I'm sure he doesn't care, but across the NFL. Like, Dan Campbell's here, and he's here to stay. So give him that damn Coach of the Year award. Send it to his house.
Yeah, we're actually agreeing a lot today on this one because Dan Campbell, you know why he should win Coach of the Year this year over anybody? Because he has done the best coaching job of any head coach in the entire NFL, regardless of situations, regardless of what they did last year. What if I told you, to kind of quote the 30 for 30 narrations, what if I told you that in the first 6 games of this season, Amon-Ra St. Brown, their best offensive player, would miss a game. David Montgomery would miss a game and parts of 2 others and is going to miss more going forward. Brian Branch, arguably your defensive MVP, would miss 2 games. Taylor Decker, their starting left tackle, one of their mainstay players for many, many years, a top-end left tackle in the NFL, would miss multiple games. Both guards would miss the last game. Vaitai would basically miss most of the season, and Jonah Jackson would miss a game. Jahmyr Gibbs, their first pick from this year's draft, the rookie running back, would miss 2 games. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, a man who was tied for the NFL lead in interceptions last year, was expected to be a major contributor to this Lions team, would basically have a lost season. James Houston, the guy who last season was second among rookies in sacks with 8 in 7 games, would basically up to this point be having a lost season. Kirby Joseph, the man who forced 6 turnovers as a rookie last year, including 3 interceptions of Aaron Rodgers in 2 wins over Green Bay, would miss a couple of games this year. Emmanuel Mosley, prayers out to him, a very, very sad story, would basically have a completely lost season, come back from injury, and 2 plays later get another season-ending injury. All of that would happen. What would you think the Lions' record would be after 6 games?
To be honest with you, before I had them at, through 6 games, just about 500.
500?
Yeah, if not 4-2.
And with all of those...
But 5-1 I did not see.
And they've done that despite all of those injuries. And to me, that's coaching. That's the next man up mentality that Matt Broder was talking about. Because the Lions, to me, I know they've got a lot of depth. They don't have the high-end talent of the Eagles. They don't have the high-end talent of the 49ers. They don't have the high-end talent of the Bills. But what they do have is depth and a belief in each other and a coaching staff that is getting the absolute best out of every single one of the players that comes in with the whole next man up thing. I mean, for example, a guy like Graham Glasgow, he's had to play a lot, start a lot of games on the offensive line. He's having the best season of his entire career. A guy like Tracy Walker is coming in after missing most of last season with an Achilles. He's having arguably the best stretch of football of his career. A guy like Will Harris, a guy who was written off. He hasn't been great or anything, but he's a guy that the Lions didn't really think they would have to count on before the season, but he's stepping up and making plays at timely moments as well. I mean, you've got games where Josh Reynolds is your number one wide receiver, and he is stepping up. It's
no problem.
You've got games where Craig Reynolds and Ozigbo are having to play the lion's share of the carries at the running back. And I get it. They didn't do a whole lot, but it's still no problem. It doesn't matter what has happened to this team. This Lions team has not been lucky when it comes to injuries. They have, in a lot of ways, they could have let this decimate them, because by the numbers, you'd think this is a team that is decimated by injuries, but no, they are still 5-1, and they have won their last 4 games all by double digits. This is a team that looks like it could go to the Super Bowl despite all of the injuries. And you know what else? What impresses me the most about this Lions team as compared to the others, and it's something that I touched on a little bit yesterday, the San Francisco 49ers in their last game at Cleveland, they had a couple of people go out. Dre Greenlaw missed the game. Christian McCaffrey went out. Brandon Ayuk went out. They crumbled. They lost. They choked. And now they're 5-1, just like the Lions. The Eagles in yesterday's game, the game 2 days ago at the New York Jets, that Jalen Carter was out, the defensive rookie of the year. Darius Slay, a guy who wasn't having his best season, but still is probably your best corner. They were both out. They lost. They lost against a team in the Jets that also had a ton of injuries to Aaron Rodgers, to Sauce Gardner, to DJ Reed. And by the way, so did the Cleveland Browns, to Deshaun Watson and to Nick Chubb. The Kansas City Chiefs in week 1 of the season, I get it. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones are big, big, big losses, but they couldn't overcome. They didn't overcome and win. They overcame and lost by 1. They can use injuries as, you know what, if we would have been healthy, we would have won those games. Well, you know what? When the Lions aren't healthy, they're still winning all of those games. When have they been fully healthy this whole season? Not once. And they are 5-1.
Yeah, that's the biggest surprise, too. Like you mentioned the injuries. I didn't even get to that. All the injuries they have offensively and defensively, it doesn't matter. But JB, I want your thoughts on it, too. Is it his award to lose? Straight up. Or do you think there's another coach that could sneak back in the conversation?
Besides Miami's coach, Mike McDaniels, I think it is his to lose, because I believe that Dan Campbell has truly won the popularity contest. Obviously, media-wise, we all love this guy, and I mean, he's kind of like a media darling, even though he does have some wild antics, but we all seem to like love and gravitate towards that. So it really is his to lose. Besides coaching-wise, I mean, he's ballsy, which you got to admit, a lot of people and fans do enjoy that as well, too, going forward on 3rd and 4th downs the way he has. But still, at the same time, like, you have to give credit where credit is due. I know this end of the year award we have to wait to see, but still, as of right now, he's the top of the list for me.
Yeah, I mean, even you go back, and Easy tweeted this out yesterday, I thought it was great. He said when Dan was first hired, he was looked at as a meathead, and they had over there Brandon Staley as the genius. Like, that's why when you judge a book by its cover like that, I mean, who's a better coach right now? Clearly Dan Campbell. Like, the whole meathead thing and him crying at the presser, people took that and ran with it and overreacted. And now they look like idiots. Like, Dan Campbell and Sean Payton called it first because he said he's an offensive version of Mike Vrabel, and I think that's a great comparison because Mike Vrabel, leader of men, you know what he's been doing in Tennessee. Of course, Malik Willis now at quarterback. We'll see how that trends. But regardless, Dan Campbell fits exactly what Detroit needed, and I think now people are even more impressed with what he's been doing because I think a lot of people judge Dan by just the cover, just the antics, the race car helmet at the press conference, like overreacting to the stupidest things, but those players play hard for him. They do. Despite the injuries, those guys play hard, and I think the Coach of the Year award, it's his to lose. All right, let's go to break. When we get back, we'll get into Top 10 Tuesday. Me and Sam will drop our list. We'll see where we have the Lions ranked. I'll see where Sam has his Chiefs
Oh,
ranked.
my Chiefs.
We'll see that in a little bit, but first, we got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance.
Of course. Do you have football on the brain? Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been pretty awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Just in time for football, Glorious Cannabis is dropping a brand new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. Smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of our Detroit football team. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, what are you waiting for? You are missing out right now. It is so smooth. Find them at a Dispo dispensary near you for 25% off. Use code word Woodward Glorious online today at gloriouscanna.com. Glorious.
That glorious drop is goated. And you put that in, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, JV does not miss. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys for choosing us this morning. It means a ton. If you could like the stream, it helps us, helps the show, of course, but it helps the network, which is important. Let's get to our top 10 list because it is Tuesday.
Oh,
therefore, we
yes.
do top 10 Tuesday.
Let's go.
We'll start with Sam's list. Sam, I can't wait to see this damn thing.
Oh, I'm sure you guys can't wait to see it either. Read it and weep. At number 10, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Probably a team that I should have probably put a little bit higher. Spoiler alert, I made this list before Monday Night Football. But you know what? The Dallas Cowboys, they're still a top 10 team. They got a big win at Los Angeles last night. Micah Parsons and Stephon Gilmore pretty much closed the club down. And that is what your best defensive players are supposed to do. And Dak Prescott, you know what? He played a good, clean game. CeeDee Lamb maybe had the best game of his season so far. And I still like this team's talent. And I think they could ultimately contend for the NFC East depending on what the Philadelphia Eagles do. At number 9, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Man, did they miss an opportunity to go in Cincinnati and win that game and maybe keep pace with the 49ers for that division. They let one slip away. But defensively, they played well. I really like their secondary. I love their running back, Kenneth Walker, obviously the DK Metcalf and their linebackers. The only problem with this team is the pass rush is inconsistent, but still, I think they have earned a spot at number 9. At number 8, I have to go with the Baltimore Ravens, a team that I haven't been super impressed with, but they still keep finding ways to come back from losses with wins. Lamar isn't having his best year, but he hasn't lost them any games, and he has been, I would say, steady-ish, although not super impressive. The running game, even if they lose J.K. Dobbins, it still looks solid. But what has really impressed me with them is Roquan Smith, quiet as kept, is having a Defensive Player of the Year caliber season. He's playing better in Baltimore than he ever did in Chicago. And Jadeveon Clowney, watch out for him. He's going to make a few big plays for the rest of the year. And he made a couple against Tennessee by sacking Malik Willis. At number 7, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, another team that coming into the year, a lot of us were very high on, including Jeff Iafrate. You were much higher on him than I was. But you know what? They've written the ship. They started 1-2. They've won 3 straight. Trevor Lawrence is playing better. Travis Etienne is one of the top backs in the league. Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk are one of the best receiving duos in the league. And Josh Allen, their edge rusher, is having the best season of his career. He is having himself a Defensive Player of the Year caliber season. And they play in a pretty easy division. I think they will run away with it like they were supposed to. At number 6, I have the Buffalo Bills. And I'll tell you what. The Bills put the fear of gosh, I would say, not to use the Lord's name in vain, when it came to that game against the New York Giants at home. That was a game that they were supposed to win by 30, and they barely squeaked that one out.
Yeah, they
if they would have lost that game, they would have been out of my top 10, probably my top 15 for good. But you know what? This is still a very, very talented team. Sometimes you just have to overcome a poor performance and win. Their running game looks better than it ever has with Josh Allen as quarterback. Josh Allen is still an MVP candidate. Leonard Floyd has been a huge addition to their defense, leading them in sacks. And I love their secondary. I love their roster. And Stephon Diggs, of course, is as steady as can be. At number 5, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what? I'm about to cop to something. I thought that a lot of people were over-exaggerating the struggles of the Eagles, but boy, I think I might have been wrong on that one. And you know who else has been struggling this year really bad? Jalen Hurts has fallen off a cliff. I know a lot of people will say they're still 5-1, but he has a 7-7 touchdown to interception ratio. Any talk about him being the no doubt best quarterback in the NFC is dead for now. And right now, he doesn't even look like he's playing like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I would say his fall could be related to why the Eagles haven't looked as impressive, but they've still been winning. They still got a lot of talented pieces, including their rookie wonderkind, Jalen Carter. At number 4, I have the San Francisco 49ers, a team that I had at 1 for a very, very long time. A team that looked unbeatable until they weren't, until they suffered a little bit of attrition, which could end up hurting them in the future, specifically with Christian McCaffrey. And you know what? Is it fair to say a little bit, and I'll just ask this question, rhetorically ask this question. Did Brock Purdy, is he really that good, or is it the system? Was he exposed a little bit? I don't know. We shall see. But the 49ers, there's certainly little cracks in their armor. At number 3, I have the Miami Dolphins, whose only blemish on their schedule this year was that game at Buffalo, which was a really bad loss. But that's going to happen every now and again. I have some concerns about their defense, although I like their personnel. But this is the best offense in the NFL, and it's looking like a historically good offense, and it just keeps churning out 40-point games, 30-point games, and Devon A-Chain, I know he's out, but when he was out, you know who stepped up? Raheem Mostert. Their running game is great. And you know what else? Tyreek Hill is the single best player in the NFL right now, and I don't think any of you can deny it. At number 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody says they're my Chiefs, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with them. A lot of people say that the Kansas City Chiefs don't look the same. They don't look great. They're not as impressive. But you know what? They're still 5-1. Patrick Mahomes is top 5 in the NFL in touchdown passes and QBR. Travis Kelce leads all tight ends in receiving yards. And Chris Jones leads all defensive tackles in sacks. They are top 10 in points per game, 4th in the NFL in point differential, and have the NFL's longest active winning streak. And oh, by the way, the Chiefs are also 2nd in the NFL in points allowed per game. You know what that sounds like to me? A typical Kansas City Chiefs team with an even better defense. The Chiefs are fine. I still have them to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And at number 1, I have the Detroit Lions. I just could not deny it anymore. That game at Tampa Bay, yes, it did something to me. It really turned me into even more of a believer than I already was before. This team is dominating teams. They've won their last 4 games by over double digits. They're leaving no doubt. It's however you want it. When they can't run, it's Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. They can get you for over 200 yards like at Green Bay. They can hold you to under 10 points. This is a team that is as complete and as dominant as there is in the NFL right now. And at this point, I don't see another loss on their schedule. I'm not saying they're going 16-1. but I am saying the worst they're going this year is 14-3, and I am booking that right now.
Whoa.
Detroit Lions, number 1.
Ryan's reaction. Shout out to you for the $5, my man. He says, Sam, you're forgiven for everything except the Ben Wallace and D-Mac take. Speaking of your list.
All right.
Not having the Lions over the Chiefs is significant. It is significant. For people that don't watch the show as often, we argue about this stuff, and Sam is finally broke.
Yeah.
He caved in. I respect that. It's time to get to my list. JB, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here's my list here. Let's check it out. Look at that. Let's go, baby.
Ooh.
Let's start at 10. Dallas Cowboys are not on my list. Now, I made this before last night, but I don't give a damn. Screw the Cowboys. Bengals, I have them at 10. They're 3-3. Started off rough. And guess what? The Bengals take on the 49ers this week. We're going to find out about the Bengals. And I think the Bengals are trending upwards. That's my opinion. I think they beat the Cowboys right now if they played 9. I have the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know how to rank the Seahawks. They beat the Lions, but they're 3-2. They just lost to the Bengals, speaking of the Bengals. But I still like the Seahawks. They're still a top 10 team to me. I think they'll figure things out, be second in the NFC West. Now, 8, Baltimore. Baltimore. Man, they're a good football team. The linebacker core they have, Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, Lamar Jackson's playing pretty good football this year. Even without a run game, they're winning games. So I got to give them credit over there. Love John Harbaugh, too. So Baltimore Ravens at 8. 7, and we have the same 7, 8, 9.
Yes.
Actually, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7, I have the Jags. And for all the reasons you kind of listed, I have Trevor Lawrence. That's my MVP. I don't like it at this point. I think he's at the same odds as Jared Goff. So we'll see how that trends. But the Jags are winning games. They play this Thursday. No Trevor Lawrence. We'll see how that goes. But the Jacksonville Jaguars deserve to be in a top 10 list. And I think Trevor Lawrence, after starting off a little rough, he's picked up his play. So positive over there in Jacksonville. They got a good defense. Like their defense a lot. Number 6, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo, it was a disgusting game on Sunday for Sunday Night Football against the Giants, but it's still the Bills. You got to put them in the top 10 list because of how they've played for the most part, besides the Jets and in the Giants games. Not great wins. Great games. I mean, you lose to the Jets week 1, and that was awful, and then you beat the Tyrod Taylor-led Giants by a couple points. They actually lost to the Jags as well, but they're still on my top list. They're 6th for me. Now, number 5, this is where it gets interesting. Philadelphia Eagles at 5. Philly, and I've been consistent with this. Something about Philly. They're not the same. I think it's the loss of Shane Steichen that really is hurting them. They're figuring things out with their new OC, Jalen Hurts. I think he'll be all right. He's struggling, but by the end of the season, I think things will start clicking. But still, that secondary has question marks. This Philly team is not the same Philly team we saw last year. Not the same Eagles. Number 4, Kansas City Chiefs. They are not 2. They are 4.
All right.
I have them 4. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and that defense is why. And Travis Kelce, of course. But I just think the three teams ahead of them are just better teams. I just think they are.
All right.
And so I have them at 4, 5-1 record, but who cares? Number 3, the Miami Dolphins. I like the Miami Dolphins a lot. They're a top 3 team to me. The amount of speed they have offensively. They got Jalen Ramsey coming back off the injury reserve. He's been out with a knee injury. He's returning. So when he returns, this defense is going to get even better for the Dolphins. They're a dangerous player in the AFC. They're a dangerous team. I think they can beat anyone anywhere, to be honest with you. Maybe not in snowy weather because of that offense. But regardless, I like the Dolphins a lot. They're a top 3 team to me. Number 2, I have the Detroit Lions. Yes, I have them. I have them behind. Yeah, to some people, I would be considered a hater. That is fair. This is where I struggle. The 49ers, this is where I have the difference. The Lions and the 49ers, it's close. Like, it's really, you're nitpicking. But what I will say is the 49ers, just like the Lions, had an opportunity. Like we say for the Lions, they were a coin flip away from being 6-0. The 49ers are a Jake Moody field goal from being 6-0. Like, they're still the 49ers. That defense was still buzzing. Fred Warner had a pick. P.J. Walker looked pedestrian, but they still found a way to win. Credit to the Browns for that, their run game, and, of course, their defense. But I'm not going to jump right off the 49ers just because they lost a game. I can't do that. I'm going to give them the slight edge over the Detroit Lions, but the fact that the Lions are 2 in the NFC, and it's close, means everything. But some people would call me a hater, Sam. That is fair. Now, when we come back, me and Sam will kind of debate the top 4, and I'll ask him why the hell he has the Chiefs over the 49ers and the Dolphins.
All right.
We'll have that conversation when we get back. I'll put a poll in the chat for everybody. You guys can vote on that. But first, I got to tell you. Actually, no, Sam, you got to tell us about our friends over. Oh, no, I do, actually, about Big Boy. Let me tell you about him. Guys, because listen, after these wins, you head over to Big Boy and you indulge in whatever you got to indulge in. They got pretzel, bacon, cheeseburgers. They got hot chicken sandwiches. Of course, you can upgrade your fries. And if you want dessert, they got that as well. Chocolate peanut butter thunder cake or their Big Boy funnel cake fries. All that and more at Big Boy. And then after you do that, you head over to Feldman, right? Get a new car. You got a full stomach, you head over there, you ate, go get a new car. Feldman will take care of it. Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. With over 18 locations, there's always one in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest to you. You can catch Woodward Sports live from Feldman every other Monday.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's Chocolate Peanut Butter Thunder Cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned bad boy mowers, tractors, STYL handhelds, and even weed whippers. Weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivery to your doorstep. Visit their website at outdoorequipco.com.
We're back. We just got done going through our top 10 lists. Me and Sam. It's Top 10 Tuesday. We do it every single Tuesday. Ours are a little different. What you can do, JB, is put them up side by side, and then you give me your thoughts on it. Any inaccuracies or anything accurate you like, and then we'll go to the chat on this. But those are our lists. What do you think, JB?
I got you. I actually like both of your guys' lists, except for Dallas. I don't really care for Dallas right now.
They're 4-2.
I know, but it's just the ugly way Dallas wins with Dak Prescott out there. I feel like they should be a lot more explosive than they are, but it's fair. I still don't mind them at 10 right there. And honestly, both of your guys' lists are spot on. If anything, with the top 3, I would probably just flip-flop Miami and San Francisco. That's the only thing. So Miami will be 1 and San Fran will be 3 on the list, while Detroit still sits at 2. I'm not putting Detroit at 1 just yet, but they are a darling that is honestly climbing up that list and eventually will be number 1. Hell, it could be as soon as next week. But me, as of right now, they sit at number 2, which I think number 2 is fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Sorry, that was random.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, sorry for those who are some person just tried to walk in the studio. But anyway, so what the hell? Am I about to die? All right. And I want to answer this question because someone put it in there, and that's fair. Sports on air, because I'm willing to sit on the stand and answer questions. Sports on air. No hate on Jeff's list. I just want to know what it takes for Jeff to put the Lions at number 1, and that's fair. I thought about it, but the reason why I struggle doing it is I can't, because I got to be consistent. I said the 49ers last week were in a tier of their own, which they've shown throughout the season. They've been dominating. I mean, they dominated the Cowboys. Like, if the Lions beat the Cowboys 42-10, Sam, like, you're going to want to be there on that Monday show. Like, we're going to go nuts. The 49ers are just so damn good, like, on both sides of the ball. Like, the amount of talent they have. And the Lions are, too. But you got to take into consideration, like, the Lions have been beating these teams by, double digits the last couple of games. So have the 49ers. Mm-hmm. It took Jake Moody to miss 2 field goals for them to lose. Like, I gotta be fair here. It's very, very close. And what gave me the edge is the proven guys, the amount of all the talent that the 49ers have mixed in with what they've been doing. I mean, they beat the Dallas Cowboys by 32. Like, that's impressive. And, of course, I know the Lions have beaten the Chiefs, but the 49ers just gave that small edge to me. But it's so close. Do I think the Lions have a good chance anybody to beat the 49ers? Yeah, I do. But this is a power ranking list, and I just had it's a slight little edge. What I won't do, though, and this is where I disagree with you, JB, but it's fair, because Lucas actually is with you. The Miami Dolphins at 1. I wouldn't go that far just because the defense has a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
But that offense, JB, they're the best in the NFL. So that's fair. That's fair. Like, if you're going to say the Miami Dolphins are the best, that's fair. To me, it's between the 49ers or the Lions. But to you, Sam, you had the 49ers 4th.
I do have them 4th.
And you had the Chiefs in front of them?
Yes.
Who just squeaked by the Broncos?
I mean, 11-point win covering the spread. I mean, squeak by.
Squeaked
Tomato,
by.
tomato, right?
Like a
tomato,
mouse.
tomato.
Like a mouse squeaked by Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Explain your reasoning. Because you had Miami and the 49ers behind the Chiefs.
I did.
But you did have the Lions 1. So
I did have the Lions 1 because I believe, as what as Deion Sanders would say, you didn't believe? No, I'm kidding.
No, I did not.
I'm kidding. But you know what? The Kansas City Chiefs, here's why. Because, and I've said this before and I will say it again, when you look at some of the eye test things, which I actually think numbers are more reliable than an eye test, silly me, nobody else would agree. The Kansas City Chiefs, what they're doing this year, besides for maybe Patrick Mahomes and their scoring, which isn't quite the level which you thought it would be, the Kansas City Chiefs are pretty much the same team that they've always been, the same dominant force that they've always been. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he's not number 1 in touchdown passes or QBR, but he's top 5. The Kansas City Chiefs aren't number 1 in scoring offense, but they're top 10. Travis Kelce, a guy that, I mean, everybody here was ready to say that Sam Laporta is better. And I love Sam Laporta, by the way. Travis Kelce in the last game, and certainly ever since he's arrived back on the scene, has been like, not so fast, kid. I am the top tight end in town. Travis Kelce leading all tight ends in receiving yards. That kind of sounds like something you expect from a Chiefs season. How about the defense, by the way, led by Chris Jones, leading all defensive tackles and sacks? That is something that maybe you could have foreseen coming if you're a Chiefs fan, because that's what Chris Jones does, because he's one of the most dominant defensive players of the last 5 years or so, and he is still in his prime and playing better than ever. It's the fact that the offense, it hasn't looked perfect, but it's playing well enough. And that defense is 2nd in the NFL in points allowed per game. The Kansas City Chiefs are giving up fewer points per game than the Cleveland Browns. They're a good team. It isn't some team that's lucking into these wins. They are a good team. And I'm not going to lie, the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, deserve the benefit of the doubt because they have arguably the best coach-quarterback combination ever already. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
And that, you know what? And it depends because these power rankings are a little subjective. Like for me, like the Bengals they're 500, but I believe they're a top 10 team. So it is eye test, it is statistics. For me with the 49ers, like if the Lions go out this week and beat Baltimore, like you can't deny it. Like they're the best team. Like right now, I think you're kind of just pick. It's 49ers or Lions, and there's an argument for both. So I can't. I'm not. Lions fans are going to be pissed at me. I get that, but it's nothing personal. Like it's close. Like I just went with the 49ers. I gave them the edge because of what they've been doing already. But the Lions, you can make a case for them as well. So. It's close. I wish I could do like tied for one, do 49ers and the Lions, but unfortunately I can't. I'm just going to give the edge to the 49ers at this moment. But it doesn't mean I don't believe in the Lions. Doesn't mean I think they'll lose to the 49ers. I think in the NFC, it's just those two teams to me. Philly's in the conversation, but right now with how they're playing, it's the 49ers and the Lions. The two best teams in the NFC.
Oh, I mean,
until the Eagles show me, it's those two teams.
Yeah, and that's fair. Maybe I was slightly reactionary when dropping the 49ers all the way to 4, but it was more to me just how much the Dolphins continue to impress, and I think the Chiefs are just better. I personally think at the most important position in all of sports, Patrick Mahomes is eons and miles ahead of Brock Purdy still. And I get it. For anybody who wants to slander Brock Purdy too much about that performance, he did lead the drive and Jake Moody missed the field goal. But Brock Purdy also did not play well enough to win. It was his worst start of his career by far. And that's saying a lot because he's had a lot of damn good starts to his career, a lot of good games. But I worry about the San Francisco 49ers, and this always seems to kind of rear their ugly head for Kyle Shanahan teams. They go into the playoffs and they have Jimmy G or Brock Purdy. I know last year everybody got hurt, so that's a little bit of a wash. That is also what I am looking into as the season goes along. And the Miami Dolphins, it's just as simple as they got the doors blown off them at Buffalo. I don't think they're a team that can go on the road and consistently win, especially in the playoffs. I feel like they're a team, they're kind of a pseudo-dome team, you know? They play in Miami. They play that like fast style of offense, but I don't trust them moving forward to go into on the road and actually win playoff games. And they might have to. The Bills might pass them.
Yeah, and some of the people reacting here, Joe Westphal, was a terrible loss for the 49ers. Cleveland has a great defense, but P.J. Walker at quarterback. And no, I understand that. Like, it's not great. But again, guys, there were 2 missed field goals, like for Jake Moody. Like, if he hits one of them, they win. So, like, I just don't want to overreact and drink too much of the Kool-Aid to where it's like the 49ers are bad. Like, I can't do that. I think it's close. It's those 2 teams, and like I said, this will be straightened out. I mean, they're all 5-1, but something's going to give, and we'll see throughout the season. Lions are a damn good football team. Not denying that. I'm just giving the 49ers some respect here. That's all. Doesn't mean I'm disrespecting the Lions. But the Lions, to me, I'm gonna say it. I like their chances to be the 49ers than I like the Eagles at this point and how they're playing. You can't be the Eagles and lose to the Jets. Like, you know, but again, that pick six to end the game, or the pick to end the game from Jalen Hurts wasn't great either.
No, it wasn't.
So, again, it is what it is. We'll see. We'll have our next top 10 list next Tuesday. We'll see how they trend. The 49ers taking on the Bengals this week, and then you have the Lions taking on the Ravens. So you'll find out. If the 49ers beat the Bengals, good win. The Lions beat the Ravens, it's a good win.
Well, and you know what else? I'm going to steal this from one of my favorite national hosts, Nick Wright. When the Chiefs kind of effed around and almost found out with the Jets, they found a way to actually win that game. When the Eagles did it, they found a way to lose. How much you want to bet that the Chiefs will still get more slander than the Eagles this week? I don't know what it is. People just love taking shots at the king. And right now, no matter what you want to say, and that's not me being a Chiefs guy, it's not being a Mahomes guy, the Chiefs are king right now. They're literally defending Super Bowl champions.
This one, Denver Blair. Moody's family watched him miss those 2 field goals. I mean, yeah, that was tough. And he posted with his family before the game.
Yeah,
like that, dude, that's tough.
The whole family out there just to see him miss.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, it's the business we're in here. Jake Moody. That's Neil Rule's guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah, Neil Rule's guy.
And Jake Moody will be fine. I think he'll be a very fine kicker in the NFL. But, yeah, the whole Hendon Hooker over Jake Moody, like, if you're talking value, I mean, Riley Patterson's doing fine, and you signed him or traded for him technically, but like, I don't know. It is what it is.
Is Jake Moody fine, or is he the next Roberto Aguayo?
Oh, God.
I'm kidding.
Coming from a Michigan fan, too, that says a lot. All right, let's get to break here. When we get back, I got something interesting about Jared Goff I want to bring up, and then we'll get to what's trending with JB today, because he's holding it down for Lucas while he's out. But before we do that, I got to hear about our friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Of course, a hell of a defense that Guardian Alarm has. And let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays to join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Fairway Packing because, guys, they've provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and, of course, dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop at Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or order online at fairwaypacking.com. And I want to address this comment because this is my guy, Cordell Walker. I'll never forgive Jeff for lying about the call lines. We're going to save the phone lines because we got some guys in IR. We want to make the show smooth here. So the phone lines, we'll do it this week, but just today, unfortunately, we will not. My apologies, Cordell. I let you down today. That is on me. I do take accountability. Let's get into this here because I just checked FanDuel because I was curious for MVP odds. And quickly, because my MVP before the season, Trevor Lawrence. I want to do a check-in on him. And your MVP was Patrick Mahomes.
Yes. Right
now, Tua Tagovailoa leads all MVP candidates. He's plus 330 for MVP. Now, second is Patrick Mahomes with plus 340. Josh Allen, third, plus 650. And then you have Jalen Hurts, plus 850. Brock Purdy, plus 1,000. Lamar Jackson, plus 1,400. And then tied with the seventh best odds, Trevor Lawrence plus 1,900 and Jared Goff plus 1,900.
Oh, those odds went down actually from yesterday.
Yeah, because he was what? What was yesterday?
Yesterday was plus 2,000. So it went down a little bit. So, I mean, betting lines are starting to see like, hey, Jared Goff.
And I love Easy, but didn't he say he would not be an MVP candidate?
I believe so at the beginning of the season.
And I don't know at this point. We'll see how Brock Purdy trends and Lamar trends. But, I mean, like, I love Lamar, and Lamar's playing really well right now. But he's plus 1,400. Like, besides, and even Mahomes, like 5-1, he's up there, definitely. Tua should be up there. Josh, last game they won, but still, like, there's guys they're kind of wishy-washy. Like, Jalen Hurts right now, plus 850. You kidding me? He's not playing well at all.
Lunacy.
To me, Jared Goff should be a top 5 MVP candidate, if not top 6. Like, Trevor Lawrence, okay, fair, but Jared Goff's playing better than him. So, like, a lot of this, I don't know how they base MVP odds. Like, if we're going off just, like, screw this and go off my opinion and who's been the most valuable, like, Jared Goff has to be, like, top 6. Like, to me, top 5 even.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. So, based off of those odds, I'm assuming it's a quarterback award. And CMC, he might miss some games, so that's going to knock him out of the running. So, I'm assuming it's a quarterback award. I don't have a problem with Tua being number 1, because right now he's earned it. I don't necessarily have a problem with Patrick Mahomes being number 2 because despite what people say, he is having not like a vintage Patrick Mahomes season. He's not going to throw 50 or even 40.
But he's doing a lot with less.
He is. He 100%
so I got to give him that.
And it looks like Travis Kelce and him are starting to like really get that connection back, and everything is starting to look like it's going to be smooth sailing. But after that, I mean, Josh Allen, you could argue, but man, they were lucky as hell to escape that game with a win. If you want to put him above Jared Goff right now, I have no problem with it. But also, if you want to put Jared Goff above Josh Allen right now, I have no problem with it. My issue is Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. Are you kidding me? Right now, and especially Lamar Jackson right now, and a lot of people aren't going to like this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Is there an element with Lamar Jackson of media creation of, oh, he won an MVP in 2019. He had one of the best regular seasons ever, which he did, and now he seems to continue to live off of that and live off of that. Has had one 3,000-yard passing season his entire career. Has missed 10 games combined in the past 2 seasons, and this year he has 5 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions in 6 games. And the Baltimore offense doesn't look that great. Granted, he leads his team in rushing, and that's valuable, of course, but I wouldn't put Lamar Jackson over Jared Goff right now, and certainly not Jalen Hurts. He has 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. A 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio in the modern NFL. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's where I'm a little lost here too, because Lamar, and I love Lamar, I've defended him a ton in the past, but they're 4-2, and a lot of that is because of Lamar, because the point is that they lost J.K., they don't have a great run game. I get all that. It's basically Lamar Jackson out there making plays with his legs. But 5 touchdown passes and 3 picks, and they're 4-2. I mean, Jared has better numbers. They have a better record. And you look at last game, okay, Jared didn't have a run game. They still won the football game. Yeah, the defense is good, but the Ravens have a defense. Like, if Jared goes out this Sunday and he beats the Ravens, and he plays way better than Lamar Jackson, he should jump him in MVP odds.
He should have been jumped him.
But to the media, to the people that apparently think that Lamar is worth, because right now he's plus 14, Jared's plus 1,900. Like, that'll change if the Lions beat the Ravens. Now, I do think if you want to sprinkle a couple of dollars on Jared Goff at plus 1,900, not saying, like Neil said yesterday, I'm not saying you bet the house payment on it, but plus 1,900 for Jared Goff, like, he's only trending upwards with how he's playing. So I don't hate that at all. I just don't, like, to your point, the whole Jalen Hurts thing. Like, and Jalen Hurts was an MVP candidate last year. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
And they're 5-1. I get all of that. But, like, really? He hasn't been really the Jalen Hurts of last year. And, of course, like Lamar, he's making plays with his legs. I get all of that. But it's a quarterback award, and you go back, and the only skill position player they have on here through, like, at the top 10 is Christian McCaffrey, who's hurt. And then after that, it's Tyreek Hill. So it is a quarterback award. I think Jared Goff's playing the best football, and he's on track to do that. So he should be respected in some of these MVP odds, but who cares at the end of the day? Like, the Coach of the Year, MVP, is it the end-all, be-all? No, but I think these, especially being in Detroit where you kind of get slept on sometimes, even with great play, Jared and Dan deserve credit. And I think Jared Goff, by the end of the season, could be a top 5 MVP candidate. I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, top 5, it might even be selling him short. Obviously, we have to see how it plays out. But to me, if we're talking about MVP candidates, and I know we're talking about just quarterbacks, because I would have someone like Tyreek Hill in my top 5 because I think he's the best overall player in football right now. Have you seen the numbers he's putting up? He might get 2K this year. I wouldn't bet against him at all. But if we're talking about just quarterbacks, I don't think you can put him any lower than 4 at this point. If we're just being honest, it's between, and even when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa, I'm not trying to diminish what he's done or anything like that, but Tyreek Hill is his best receiver. And I get that the connection has something to do with it, but having Tyreek Hill helps. And I'll tell you what, if you want to talk about an MVP candidate, talk about the Dolphins running game. Devon Achanes before he got hurt, was averaging over 12 yards per carry, and Raheem Mostert is having the best season of his career. If you want to kind of combine them and create a super running back, then that would be have the best running back season ever, and that's certainly helps Tua Tagovailoa as well. The whole Lamar Jackson thing, he's starting to grate on me a little bit because Happy Camper Harry said this before, and it was a little while ago, but I wanted to get to it because I always try to hammer this home. We always bring up Lamar Jackson's MVP. It was a great regular season. What did he do in the playoffs that year? What has he ever done in the playoffs? Lamar's failure in playoffs, and this is Happy Camper Harry, have to be considered as much as his previous MVP because for people who want to talk about how other players like Aaron Rodgers is a playoff choker, Lamar Jackson is actually a playoff choker. He is a morbid playoff performer. I believe his record is 1-3 with 3 touchdowns and 5 picks. Lamar Jackson has never had even a decent playoff game. And that has to be considered at some point.
Yeah, and I think just because MVP candidates, you judge them because how much does this quarterback have an effect on winning? What about losing? Like, did anybody watch the Steelers and Ravens game and how that ended? Like, Lamar Jackson, interception. Lamar Jackson, fumble. And then they turned the ball over on downs. That was the last 3 possessions. Like, not trying, again, I love Lamar Jackson, but, like, if we're being real here, he lost that Steelers game down the stretch, like, for them.
Well, and for the record, I don't want to, like, minimize. There were some drops, but still.
Yes.
10 points.
Yes,
10
but
points.
I'm saying the last 3 possessions, interception, fumble, and then turnover on downs. Like, I know and Brandon Katz says it's just one game. Well, it's only been 6 games, so these games matter. If Jared Goff did that, what would we be saying?
Oh, yeah.
You think his MVP odds would shoot way down? Yes. If he lost a game because of Jared, yeah, he wouldn't get that respect. But Lamar Jackson's still top 5, even with that result. But regardless, I get it. I do. I get it.
And here's where I have to me and Brandon Katz can actually break some bread at this point because he was talking about what I said about Lamar in the playoffs. And he says, Brandon Katz says, Goff has never done anything in the playoffs. I actually agree with you. I think that he was carried to the Super Bowl like by his. It was as if they were his pallbearers. Not saying he was dead, but he was carried and carried and carried. I mean, they made it with him as quarterback, but he didn't do a whole lot. He threw 1 touchdown pass in that entire playoff run and was terrible in the Super Bowl. I'll give you that, but that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm talking about. Maybe he's speaking of me using Lamar Jackson's playoff history against him. I'm more saying that Jared Goff's numbers are better than Lamar Jackson's. The team's record is better than Lamar Jackson's, and I feel like the Lamar Jackson thing is just becoming a little bit of a media creation. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and even to this one, and trust me, I get it. Like, I want to read this comment here. Uncle Snoop, shout out to you. Chill out, Jeff. The wide receivers dropped the ball. They dropped at least 2 TDs. I get that, but I'm just saying how the game ended. If Jared Goff, if it ended that exact same way, You think the media would be like, well, they dropped 2 TDs, so boost him up in MVP odds. No, they'd be like, no, he lost the effing game.
Yeah.
Like, you fumbled, you threw a pick, and you turn over on downs. Like, so I want them to be consistent. That's all. I'm not trying to crap on Lamar. I'm just saying Jared deserves more respect in his MVP race. I do. I think he's a big part of why the Lions are winning. That's what I believe. Let's go to break. We'll get to what's trending with JB, and then we'll get to mailbag. Get your questions ready. But first, we got to hear about our friends over at Dispo, because some of these odds makers are smoking that Ravens pack, it seems like.
100%. Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere, mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. The first ever cannabis mall of its kind is conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late night until midnight every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White & Associates offers. It's called the Minute-by-Minute Listing Agreement by Mark White & Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. People bringing up Lamar Jackson like I just told everyone he's a terrible quarterback. All I'm saying is, hey, if that result was Jared, nobody would be defending him like this, at least nationally. So, I just want that consistency. I do. That's all I ask for. And I like Lamar. But Jared Goff, man, I think this week he goes up on the MVP odds. We'll see how that trends. But JB, you know what time it is. It's 9:40. What's trending with JB? JB, what do you got for us?
Oh man, I've got some stuff cooking up for you guys. But first and foremost, shout out to all of you in the chat right now. You guys are making me laugh over here. I'm dying laughing at some of these comments. So it's been a very entertaining morning, I'll say that. But all right, let's get into this, because Monday Night Football was okay. It was decent. I'll give credit for that. But can anyone tell me who this woman is? Anybody. Anybody. And why ESPN needed to go to her so many times during this broadcast. I just don't understand her excitement right here.
Well, I appreciate the fandom, but who the hell is that?
I don't know. And even you got this one as well, too.
Another one?
Look, she was happy that the Chargers scored, apparently. Really happy.
I'll take whoever this is over Taylor Swift every 5 seconds. But, hey, it is what it is.
That's true. But then again, this wasn't the end result.
That was like me after the game, getting all the texts from Neil Rule. The man is relentless.
Yeah,
he's
Neil.
A psychological torturer is what he is. But you know what? It's all well and good. She kind of looked like me in that game for a lot of the time, because damn. That's all I got to say about that game.
Someone said,
damn.
Jeffrey says, that's the Korean lady that posts all the ESPN and First Take videos.
Oh, is it?
Oh, for real?
Is it really?
I did not know that.
See, now, hey, more you know. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Hey,
that's a Jeff to Jeff right there. I like that. I saw that. Yeah. Lucas texted me. He's like, who the hell is this chick?
I don't know. Why did ESPN need to go to her every single second just to be like, oh, no, the Chargers, no.
Did you see the Troy Aikman Jay-Z memes?
No, I didn't even see those. I did see Jay-Z there, though, as well. That was interesting.
They were saying that Troy Aikman looks like Jay-Z. And then on the broadcast, Troy Aikman brought it up because they showed Jay-Z. And he's like, I saw the meme float around. It looked like Jay-Z. And I'm like, oh, God, why would you bring that up? Yeah, but he kind of does. In the picture they showed, he kind of does look like...
He kind of slightly does, yeah. A little bit. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is a weird thing. It is.
But, all right, I got something else for you guys. So, Sam, Jeff, you guys would admit that... LeBron is your king, yeah?
Yes.
The way that sounds. I mean, yeah, he's my
yes.
king.
He's your basketball king.
Yes, he is.
He is my GOAT.
Your GOAT, your basketball king.
Indeed.
I mean, which is respectable. That's fair. But for other people, that's not their GOAT. It's really not. And, you have to respect that as well, too. But do you respect it enough to get it tattooed on you like this guy?
God, let me see this.
That is Ben Simmons right there, and that is a guy that has tattooed Ben Simmons on his chest.
No way.
Yes, way.
A tattoo?
A tattoo. So
of
I asked
Ben
you guys,
Simmons.
I asked you guys, would you ever dare to get a LeBron tattoo on yourself?
No. But if someone were to, I wouldn't hate it as much as I hate a Ben Simmons tattoo. And when did you get it? Like, if you got it when he was drafted, like, okay, that's fair, because maybe you thought like he was going to be this all-time great player. But if you got that recently, holy hell, man, that is awful.
Oh yeah.
And you have a tattoo, and you haven't really been able to see him play. No. So that's got to be up there for one of the worst tattoos. Like I've seen. Even when we gave whoever that was who had the Lions Super Bowl 2024 tattoo, like that guy actually looks like he's cooking.
Well,
at this point in time, he might be cooking. But Ben Simmons tattoo, hell no.
No, I mean, words cannot explain just how egregious that is. I mean, first of all, this is somebody said that in the chat. I forgot. I didn't see who. Don't get another man's face tatted on you. I would probably agree with that sentiment. I don't have any tattoos, but Ben Simmons. I mean, even for when he was good with the Philadelphia 76ers, I mean, he's not get a tattoo worthy. And the last you saw of him in the playoffs for Philadelphia, he was basically being passive, and they ended up losing to the Atlanta Hawks. And one of the most famous plays, he passed up an easy layup. And with the Brooklyn Nets, he has not done anything.
Nothing.
And I loved Ben Simmons coming out of college, and I loved his talent. But man, if you get a Ben Simmons tattoo, you should check yourself into the psych ward. I'm not trying to make light of like mental issues, but seriously, that is a mental illness.
Sports on Air says, how much do we have to pay to have Sam get a Ben Wallace tattoo?
Oh, that's a good one.
What could I be bought for a Ben Wallace tattoo? I don't know.
I mean, have to be a lot of money. I'm getting a tattoo of another man. I'm not doing that. So, I mean, what about Mahomes?
I mean,
Baby goat.
You wouldn't have to pay me that much.
Oh, okay. He walked right into that. I opened the door, JB. He walked right through it.
I'd have to be paid enough, but I would be open to that one.
I saw someone said Jeff has a Neil Rule tattoo. Well, I just. I get Neil Rule's facial expressions. There's like 1,000 of them I can get tattooed on me. But I would not do that. Hell no.
You wouldn't do it?
No. Well, I agree with that one comment. I would never get a man's face tattooed on me. That's just not.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
weird.
But all right, moving on a little bit. I know we've all kind of seen it happen or going on right now live over the internet. The whole beef between CJ, GJ, and Deebo Samuels right now, which I gotta admit is kind of funny. It's kind of cool.
I love it.
Here's a little small clip of CJ kind of going off responding to Deebo right here.
Another thing, bro, listen, don't be friendly when you see me. Cause you be so flashy. You better hope, bro. You better hope all that talking you be doing when we see y'all do it, whatever round it may be. Cause I can guard you. You can't run routes. You're a running back. I ain't gonna sit here and play with you, little boy. Because you got a little bag, people gave you a little clout, man, you ain't nothing, bro. Stop playing.
He even said that, you know what, Deebo, you're a running back. He can guard you. Can't wait to see you, whatever round it might be. So I have to ask you guys, has there ever been a point in your Lions fandom that we could sit here and have our players sit here and talk shit to other players who are atop of the NFC right now?
Well, I love it. I talked earlier about how Dan fits what the Lions are looking for, what they needed. C.J. Gardner-Johnson fits exactly what this defense needs. Still, I'm sad he's out. But when he was here, the battery pack that man is to jaw at opponents and the team just rallies behind that. Like, I love this. I love this. And by the way, you could talk when you're 5-1. That's what I love about CJ. You can bark all you want. CJ knows a good football team. He knows he'll lock up Deebo Samuel, called him a running back. I love it. CJ's not afraid of anyone or anything. He just goes out there and plays. And that's why I hope he comes back for the playoffs. Because I hope we face the 49ers and CJ Gardner-Johnson lets Deebo know.
You know what?
Lets him know.
To the shock of absolutely no one, it's not that I don't like this. It's just that I don't really care that much anymore. And this is like, I see this in the chat. Deebo is a monster, though, and that's fair. And I know that.
Is he, though?
Yes. Deebo Samuel is a better football player than CJ Gardner-Johnson at their respective positions. That is inarguable. That is inarguable.
Deebo is a fine player, but he had, at least in my memory, the 1,400-yard season.
Yeah.
Name me another one.
Just a silly little 1,400-yard season.
No, great. It was great, but that was also 2 years ago.
Well, and CJ Gardner-Johnson's never made a Pro Bowl.
I like Pro Bowl my ass. CJ led the league in picks, not playing a full season last year.
And I like CJ Gardner-Johnson. It's just like this trash talking war thing. And now it's going to kind of rile up the faction of the Detroit Lions fan base who think only good NFL players play in Detroit now. But CJ Gardner-Johnson is not locking down Deebo Samuel.
Locking him up.
The Lions might beat the 49ers, but CJ Gardner-Johnson is not locking down Deebo Samuel. Come on now. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, no, he played Cleveland and had one target, no catches. So I think a ghost could have locked him up.
He went out of the game.
Of course. So, I get that. But you know what? Deebo Samuel, kudos to you, buddy. CJ's going to come knock you the hell out, metaphorically. All right, I don't want
Get on the field first,
I don't want nothing
bro.
physical to happen to you, Deebo. I'm not insinuating that. But CJ Gardner-Johnson's going to put you in a jail cell and leave you in there. But Sam Flannel thinks differently.
No,
That's fine.
I do.
He had one season. That was great. One season.
Okay, and CJ Gardner-Johnson's had one season.
Go back to his Saints days. Pretty damn good player.
Oh, his big play Saints days. He was okay as the Saints. And then I saw Booner. Deebo Samuel only had 1,000-yard season. It's just, here we go again. Only good players play in Detroit. That's what a lot of y'all think. And it gets on my nerves sometimes.
Okay.
Just because CJ Gardner-Johnson talked a little bit of trash, the Detroit Lions fans just eat it up to playing homage to Neil Rule right here. Nom. He talked trash about Deebo Samuel. Obviously, that means he's better. Nom.
I just think that CJ would put that man in a body bag,
He would. You're insane. Oh my goodness.
He would. No, he would jaw that man, and then you know what Deebo would do? He'd say, "Hey, Trent Williams, please come over here, please. CJ Gardner-Johnson's bullying me, Trent Williams."
All right, fine.
CJ Gardner-Johnson don't need nobody.
All right, but CJ Gardner-Johnson's a defensive back.
Mm-hmm.
Deebo Samuel's a wide receiver. Was it a little bit of a punk move by Deebo Samuel? Sure, but CJ Gardner-Johnson is a defensive back. He's not like CJ Gardner-Johnson is sort of that's his job to look to see ball and hit ball.
Yeah, go put him in a jail cell.
Yeah.
Which he will.
Deebo Samuel, his job is to run routes and try to avoid. And for the record,
saying.
I hope CJ Gardner-Johnson does shut him down. It's just this infatuation with trash talk, and now all of a sudden we have to.
Danny G says Deebo's not even the best wide receiver on his team. Brandon Ayuk is that guy.
Well, but Brandon Ayuk is a pretty damn good wide receiver, and it's arguable, by the way. And CJ Gardner-Johnson's not even the best safety on his team now. The defense doesn't even need him.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's out of pocket.
What were the games where they gave up 6 points?
That's out of pocket. He is the best safety on his
Brian
team.
Branch is already better than CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah,
I'll
give you that. But guess what? CJ Gardner-Johnson led the league in picks last year, not playing a full season.
He did. Still couldn't make a Pro Bowl.
Just data.
All right.
Well,
it's just data, JB.
Yeah, it is just data, but that was what's trending with JB today. Let's get into some mailbag with you guys. What do you think?
You know what, JB, we got a little spicy there.
It did. It got spicy at the end, man.
That's why. Hey, listen. That's why I appreciate JB holding it down while Lucas is out. Thanks, JB. We'll go to break. We come back. Let's get to mailbag. Get your questions ready. We'll try to get to as many as we can, and then we'll end the show there. But first, I got to hear about our friends from Lady Jane's.
Oh, absolutely, Lady Jane's. Right after I managed to make everyone in the chat mad, I got to go get my A+ haircut from the A+ stylist. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA Tourney. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome, Jeff Iafrate.
And let me tell you about our friends over at Les Stanford, because what happens when we run a great business for over 50 years, You expand and offer more products to people. That's exactly what Les Stanford's doing by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Like you can't trust Deebo Samuel to stay healthy for an entire season. But they're on Woodward Avenue and just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com.
Oh, you mother.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf, downtown's newest sports bar. They got 13 TrackMan simulators. Mention promo code Woodward at checkout for 50% off your first time, and visit 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. That is 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. All right, let's get the mailbag. It's that time of the show, 9:50. 9:55. We'll try to get some questions here. People reacting to Sam Flannel there. Kind of getting angry over the whole Deebo versus CJ Gardner-Johnson debate. It's funny. I love him. But hopefully they get to see each other in the postseason. That'll be ideal. Don Beats, mailbag Sam. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, will you get a tattoo?
No.
You know Spencer has tats on the line.
He does have tats on the line.
He's got a 16 tat, and what does he have, like a lion something?
Like a grit.
A grit, yeah. A grit.
Dude,
across
16
his chest.
on the ear. Like, that is... Yeah. If I'm betting anything, it's farthest I'm going is my hair. I'm not doing no tattoos. That's for sure. Thorneal says, mailbag, can we get a first-round pick for Goff in the next draft if he continues to look good? I don't think they're trading Goff. I don't. I don't. I know they drafted Hendon. I get all that, but we don't know what Hendon is, though, Thorneal. You know what Jared is. He's a top 5 quarterback. He's top 7 in MVP conversations. He's the reason you're winning these games. Like, I can't sit here and even make an argument. Like, you can't. There's no argument to trade him. None. Unless you want to start over. Like, and waste rookie contracts with Hendon Hooker. Like, there's that, too, if he's not the guy you expect him to be.
I mean, it'd be in a good situation.
It would be.
I know what you mean.
But if he takes a year or two, Sam Flannel, you're burning time. Like, he's a guy you can win with right now. So I don't think they'll trade him.
Goff for a first-round pick. I haven't heard that one yet.
No, I have not either. Let's see. Cordell says, mailbag, will you tell Sam if he thinks Deebo's better than CJ that he doesn't know ball?
Is that really that egregious of a take, a wide receiver who had over 1,400 yards and over 300 yards rushing that year versus a defensive back that can't stay healthy, never made a Pro Bowl, and this year, if we're talking about talking trash from the sidelines, I mean, I get it. Deebo Samuel, he went up and kind of started something, and Trent Williams had to finish it for him. CJ Gardner-Johnson's literally on the sidelines at his home. He can't back up anything because he can't play. I'm just saying. And I like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but Lions defense hasn't looked like it's really needed him very much.
Yeah, this 49ers offense don't need Deebo. That's for sure.
Okay. All right.
I'm kidding. All right. For this comment, Sir James says, or Seer James, if I mispronounce that. Mailbag, when Ben leaves next year, will Goff follow him? I don't think so. I think they have a close relationship, but people thinking like Jared was just going to go dart to wherever Ben is. I still think, and I've been saying this, Ben is coaching in L.A. next year. He's coaching the Chargers. So I don't think Jared's obviously is not leaving into the Chargers. So that's my prediction, and I think Jared stays. Denver Blair says, Booner, it's all love for Jeff, a.k.a. Hollywood, a.k.a. I play the bongos, a.k.a. I'm vegan. This is kind of a bongos attire, is it not? Like, you wear the hat like this, you have to play the bongos.
I guess you kind of do.
I don't think he's far off on that one.
You probably have, like, hemp everything at the house right now.
Yeah. I got the bongos in my car. You know, it is what it is. Hoof Harded says Debo's not a top 10 wide receiver, but CJ is a top 10 safety.
Are we sure CJ is a top 10 safety? Are we sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not so sure about that. But you know what? And also the threshold for being a top 10 safety versus a top 10 wide receiver is a little bit different. I would say that Debo is a top 15 wide receiver, and a top 15 the 15th best wide receiver is better than the 8th best safety.
Okay.
Anytime a Lions player talks trash about anybody ever, it's just nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. No. Trash talk. Nom nom nom.
No, I'm just stating my opinion. I mean, he had one great year.
He did. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has not even had one great year.
Yeah, leading the league in interceptions despite not playing a full season. I'd say it's pretty good. I mean, I don't know.
1,800 all-purpose yards, 6 interceptions.
But you can't bring up he's not available when Debo's never available either.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to miss the whole goddamn season.
Debo, it's only a matter of time before he goes down with something.
All right. When you see C.J. Gardner-Johnson,
at least C.J. doesn't need Trent Williams. He doesn't call Panay to finish a job for him.
I mean, he
doesn't need Panay.
When you see C.J. Gardner-Johnson's games played and you see a 2 beside his name this year, I'm just saying.
Okay. Then when he comes back and faces the 49ers and lays the wood on Debo, pause.
Fair.
You'll know.
Hey, Lucas, I never said that C.J. Gardner-Johnson didn't have a good year. I said he hasn't had one great year. He hasn't had a year the level of Deebo Samuel's in 2021.
So what do you need, 10 plus picks? Is that what you need out of C.J.?
I need a full season. People are just saying that Deebo Samuel is like 1,400-yard season. Everybody does that. Just the disrespect for every other player that's not.
Hey, CeeDee Lamb did it more recently. He had 13, like 80, so almost 14.
That's fine. And CeeDee Lamb, I like CeeDee Lamb too.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just saying. Brandon says they both have one good year. You know what? We'll settle this, Sam Flannel. I'm not saying you're you're hating on CJ, but you feel Debo's a great player. That's fine. I think he's a fine player. He's just only done it for one season. That's all.
You would think that I was talking about Gabe Davis or something like that. I'm talking about Deebo Samuel, who in 2021 was as valuable of a skill position player as we've seen in the NFL in the past few years. That's facts.
Okay. We'll end it there. Now, Lucas Klotz, Nico Collins having a 1,200-yard season.
If he has 1,200,
that's your guy.
If Nico Collins has like a 1,400-yard season, then yes, he's a better player than C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Yes, I'm
talking about your boy Debo. He's about to have more yards than him this year.
That's fine. Then they're both better than C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Oh, so that's where it is. The narrative. He will not give it to C.J. That's where we're going with this. Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it for us today on the Morning Woodward Show. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We love you. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel. We got Kool-Aid helping us out, filling in for JB, and then JB filling in for Lucas. Guys on IR, it don't matter. Next man up. We got the entire crew. Lucas Klotz will be out tomorrow, but he's expected to be back Wednesday dealing with an ankle injury. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Lucas, we love you. We miss you. We'll see you guys. Appreciate you. Big D Energy, 11 to 1. The rest of the programming throughout the rest of the day, 2 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 10. Pick a time slot. Woodward Sports will be live. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.